Hello, I'm back after another brief interlude. There's some stuff I've recorded that's going to go up soon. I did a review of Pandemic Legacy, but it's really long. That'll go up again in the next couple of days, but yeah, it's a long review, just so you know. I've been doing odds and sods and looking for work as usual, and it's kind of that what I want to talk about at the moment. So there was a project going on the last few weeks that I was supposed to be on, but then I was dropped at kind of the last minute, a few days before, because they wanted to move ahead with a large. It's complicated. I'm not going to go into details. Basically, they accused me of not having done enough pre-production work, even though it's not usually stuff that I would do anyway. And the stuff I was trying to do, that they were the ones delaying me doing it regardless. And they hadn't really told me if I was supposed to be doing all this extra design work, because I wasn't the sound designer, I was just the recordist. So yeah, no, they had a bunch of problems that they seemed made up and largely born out of their own incompetence. I won't say what the production is or who they are, because frankly I don't want to give them the foot traffic. I don't want you to go look at them, even if it's just a bitch and moan at them. They don't deserve it. But it was a feature film with a mediocre script that might work, but it would have been nice, to be working on something like that. And I doubt it'll amount to anything, because it wasn't great production in general. But it's got me thinking about independent film. And earlier this year, I kind of swore off of unpaid work. Now, I don't have a problem with unpaid work, or short films or whatever films being made for basically no money. There are people who would seek to essentially ban that practice completely, of work if you're working only for expenses, so they're just covering your travel or whatever, or getting you food. I'm not one of those people. I don't think that should be completely against the rules or whatever. I think there's a place for unpaid or expenses only films, because I believe that film is an artistic medium, and therefore it has to be. Sometimes it just has to be created. If you don't believe that film is an artistic medium, you just believe it's a business, then fine. It's a little soulless of you, but yeah, you can boycott the concept of expenses only or unpaid work. But I personally kind of swore off of unpaid work unless I happen to have the time free. If it was a very small 1-2 day shoot, and I had the time available, and I just wanted to be doing something. And it's good to meet people. You never know who you're going to meet on these shoots, and then people who are up and coming or whatever. So yeah, I would do something like that, but I didn't go looking for it. I didn't look at I skipped job ads that said that, and I skipped it, on online or whatever, and I just didn't seek it out. As a result of this cock up of a feature film, I'm kind of swearing off of indie film in general at this point. Now I've worked on a lot of them, and I know a lot of people, and I've made a lot of good contacts in London, and who I would all happily work with. I'd happily work with them, even for nothing, just because I know them. I think they're good people. I think they're good talent, and they're making good films, and I would happily work with them, whatever the circumstances. But I'm reaching a point where I don't think I'm going to seek indie film anymore. When I do job searches. Now, there's exceptions, obviously, the right project, the right setup, like a properly fully funded indie film. I'm talking about like little low budget, zero budget productions. I feel like I want to avoid them just because they're fraught with trouble and they're a pain in the arse. This really annoys me that this film has made me think this, because I want to support these little projects. I want to support low budget, zero budget projects, because I've made them in the past. And I want to be, somebody who can work on those and help those wannabe filmmakers and stuff. But it's just the hassle that comes with them. Not all the time, obviously, but it's just a few people ruining it for everyone, I guess. And this is why it's so hard to find crew who will work on these films, because the few films that you only ever need a few bad experiences of films that have completely fucked everything up. And then I'm just thinking, well, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to work with these unprofessional people anymore. And have to deal with their bullshit, and that hurts film in general. That hurts film as a whole. But I've got to look out for myself at the end of the day. I've got to look out. I'm like I say, I've got a bunch of people who I'd happily work with, but I've got to look out for my own means and ends. And it's kind of annoying, and it's kind of sad, and I kind of wish I didn't have to do this and think that way. But that's kind of the way it is. But whilst I'm here, I do have a few thoughts on job ads, particularly low-budget indie film job ads. There's a lot said about them very negatively and jokingly, but there's some serious points that need to be made. First of all, I hate seeing a job ad it's saying this will be a great opportunity, or this will be great chance to work with an upcoming director, or even if someone that's award-winning, could say an award-winning director. I hate that, because who the hell says it's a great opportunity? You don't know it's a great opportunity. You have no idea. Nobody anywhere, no matter what level you are in the film industry, nobody knows the secret to success. No one. Marvel have pretty much got it nailed down, I guess. But realistically, nobody knows what makes a film suddenly go wrong, or what makes a good film flop at the box office, or a bad film, explode at the box office. No one really knows. There's a lot of people. It's all about guesswork at the end of the day. And the job ads that say this will be a great opportunity are just bullshit. Nobody's fooled by that. Nobody's there going, "Oh my god, this person's the next big thing. I have to work on this." No one's fooled by that. Don't bullshit. I like to see in a job ad that you are enthusiastic, that you're trying to go places or whatever, and you know what you're. I like to get a sense that you know what you're doing, or you know that you know what needs to be done, I guess. But simply saying something as bland as it's a great opportunity isn't fooling anybody. I hate seeing a job ad. If you're going to do something in that vein in a job ad, then detail how you're going to market the film, how you're going to market the film, where you're going to send the film if you're good in festivals, if you have distributors and things like that on board. This production stuff, that interests me. I want to know how far ahead you've thought. And if I don't want to know, I like to know that you're enthusiastic, obviously, but I like to know that there's a little bit of business acumen behind it. If it's simply just telling me this is going to be worth my time, it feels like you're trying to trick me to working on your movie. And I want to see, I don't want to just be told that, I want to see evidence of that. Second thing that bugs me, really bugs me, maybe I just don't know how to handle this situation, but it annoys the crap out of me. If I contact somebody about a little low budget feature or whatever, a low budget film of some sort, and then they will often contact me and say, "What do I charge?" That's a common question. What do I charge? And I know that they've got a low budget film. They've said in their advert saying we can't afford much, blah 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 blah. But then they ask me what I charge, so I would normally reply saying, "Well, I understand you're a small film and whatever. I can negotiate. What can you offer?" More often than not, they come back to me after I've said that to say, "Well, we'd like to know what you charge." They always want to know what I charge. I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I send them a figure. They then come back to me and say, "Oh, we can't afford that, but we can afford this." For fuck's sake. If you had a figure in mind, just tell it to me. You're bullshitting me again at this point. If you have a figure that you know you can afford and you want to pay, if you've budgeted for that figure, tell me what it is. Just offer it to me. I'll say yes or I'll say no. If anything, maybe you could offer a little less if you wanted to get negotiations going on, and I can talk you up. But get negotiations going. Don't ask me, because I'm not going to shortchange myself. If you ask me what my fee is, I'm just going to tell you, the flat fee. I'm not going to work it to fit your budget, because I don't know what your budget is. I'm not going to shortchange myself by lowering. I'm just going to tell you what it is. And then always on these little low budget films, always they get back to say they can't afford it, and they give a counter offer, which they could have just given right up the first place. I said, "I know you have a small budget. What can you offer?" But they refuse to tell me. They always want me to say first, and I always know they're going to refuse whatever I say, because I know they can't afford it because they have a tiny budget. And it just feels like they're trying to trick you at that point. I'm like, well, maybe he'll say a nice low figure that then we can, a figure that's lower than what we were prepared to pay, and we can offer them that. So I say, well, I'll do it for 50 quid, if it's a day's work, whatever. And they were like, "Oh, good, we were going to pay 100. So let's, could you let's give him 50, because he's been tricked into it." It feels like you're trying to trick me into shortchanging myself. Which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to tell you, a rate, and then either you can do it or you can't. And odds are you knew in advance whether you could do it or not. So yeah, and also it makes it look like you haven't budgeted. It makes you look like you don't know how to budget. You don't know how to put your pre-production together. It makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. So have a budget. If you know what you can afford to pay your crew, just tell them what it is. Put it in the job ad, ideally. That's the perfect way of doing things. But yeah, if somebody just offers to say, "We can offer you this," if I contact you, or if you contact me direct, which people do contact me directly. But yeah, just say, "We can offer this," and then I'll either say yes or no, or I'll say, "Well, can you afford a little bit more?" Or that's fine. Well, whatever. There's no harm done. Don't ask me for a fee that I know you won't be able to afford. It's just very annoying that people just can't talk flatly about money, and it makes you look unprofessional. Makes me look unprofessional. Makes us just having this stupid conversation about money that's really annoying. Third thing is a relatively minor thing, but when I read a job ad, you don't need to pitch your movie to me. I see so many job ads that go off on a ramble. They go a bit long, and they're pitching the whole. They've got the synopsis, and they've got the whole kind of marketing ploy, and they've got this kind of like I don't know what the word for it is, but like a marketing pack type thing, press pack sort of thing, to pitch the movie. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't need you to pitch the movie to me. I want detail. I want a little bit, yeah. I want a quick summary of what your movie's about. I want to know your genre. That's another thing. Some people forget to put what genre their film is. That doesn't matter. People like to know. I want to know just briefly what your movie is. Cast and crew who you've already got on board, if you have anybody already on board who are worth noting. Again, if they're not worth noting, don't say it. Don't just give me some random pause. Award winning is not as impressive a title as you might think. There's a lot of awards out there. For all I know, that is the tiniest little pokesy award. If you've got an award worth mentioning, great, say it out loud. But just the words award winning is not that impressive. Sorry, I'm sorry, but it's not. Yeah, there's 1,000 different awards that you could have won out there, and half of them I couldn't give a shit about. But yeah, little brief, couple of sentences, synopsis, cast and crew listed who are worth noting, and then as I said before, details on the production. So a little bit about your budget, what you're going to do with the film, and so forth. I want the production details that make you look professional. I don't need the full-on sale of your film. I don't need you to sell your film to me. Odds are, I just want work. I want happy to work. Money is sadly is going to be the most important thing here. Odds are, I'm just happy to work. Even the pitch of your film doesn't really sell it unless until I've seen the script. Now, it's the script really that tells you the film. The pitch can be amazing, but the script could be terrible. I want to see the script, if anything. If your pitch includes some sort of gimmick or concept, then okay, fair enough. Then you want to get that out. But if it's just a plain synopsis of the film, then is it really worth? Is there any point to going into that much detail? It's just too much detail and not relevant, and it's not showing your professionalism, which is what I want to see. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with the pitch, but it's just not that relevant immediately at hand. I want to know the production details, and I want to know pay and when the shoot is, and so on and so forth. The details that are relevant to me right then. Then I apply, and then we can talk about the film, and then I can maybe see the script, and I can maybe drop the project after seeing the script or whatever. I just want to I can get those details later. You don't need to be selling the film. If you have a proper zero budget film and you're not paying at all, then yes, maybe you need to sell it a little bit more than any other project. If you're trying to really talk people into, we are great. But again, even at that level, I still want to see who your production team are, what your plans for the film are. I still want to see that. I want to know this film is going somewhere. No matter how, as I've said, no matter how good a film is, it can still fail. And no matter how bad a film is, it can still succeed. I want to know that you are people who are worth working with, not that your project is worth working on. Obviously, in a perfect world, you have good people and a good film, and everything's wonderful. But I am simply crew. I am not, producing this film. I am not marketing this film. I cannot be taking responsibility for the how well this film does, or how well put together your team is, or how everything, which is basically what I was being asked to do on this film that went through. I can't be taking responsibility for how well your film is run or how these things are thought out. I met with these people for this film, and it was very clear that there were a lot of things they hadn't thought of, and they for some reason thought that I was going to be thinking of them. And I wasn't even hired as the designer on this, so I didn't know. I wasn't just required to do any of this stuff. But yeah, they obviously, from a technical aspect, I thought I had it covered. I just needed them to pull their fingers out their arse and get back to me with all the the technical requirements that I was asking about. I forgot what I was talking about then for a second. But yeah, no, that's the situation. If I want to make films just because I want to make a great film, and as I say, I've met a lot of people in London now that I would happily work with, and I trust in their work, and I want to work with them, regardless of sort of their setup and their budgets and things, and I would happily work with them because I trust them as people, and I trust them, the quality of their work. As I say, I am not coming down on unpaid or expenses only work. I happily support that existing, for the artistic merit of film. I don't have a problem with those films being made. If you're making those films, there's nothing wrong with trying to hire professionals on your films, but you need, like, for example, I'm looking to make a feature film next year, and unless something changes between now and then, budget good, it's going to be low budget. It's going to be tiny budget. But principally, I want to work with people I know, people I've worked with before, people I know, and I'm going to be contacting all my friends and contacts and saying, "Hey, let's make a film." That goes for cast and everyone. I kind of wrote it with cast in mind, for people I know and people I've worked with, and I just want to work with my friends and people I trust. To that degree, I want to avoid having to hire people, and because then that's that awkward position of having to explain, well, we haven't got any money, and trying to get people in on that. That's not to say that I don't want to pay my friends. I do want to pay my friends. I want to have all these things. I want to have £1 million budget and push forward. Maybe that'll happen. You never know. But yeah, no. I want an environment of people who understand, people who I've worked with on zero budget films before, who understand that we just want to make films, and we trust in each other's work. And that's kind of thing we have to do. If you're starting small with no money, you need that group of friends, of people you know. You need to work on productions and meet people and get a group of people who you want to work with, who you know and trust and are happy to help you out. This is another thing. It's important to understand that if you're not paying, or if you're paying very little, that these people, the people you're hiring, are doing you a favour. There are so many little productions I've worked on that don't seem to appreciate that you're doing them a favour, and they just treat you like any employer wouldn't treat any employee, like you work at McDonald's or whatever, like someone just beneath them to boss back. That doesn't quite work. If I'm not being paid a full, proper salary plus all the perks and everything, I don't feel the need to treat you like my boss. Sorry. There's obviously a professional environment. You have to be professional, certainly, but I don't. You have to have that a little bit of give and take, just because we are helping you to some degree out of the goodness of our hearts, and we are. You have to recognise that people don't have to be doing this, don't have to be taking this. And as an employer, and most directors I've worked with have been great about this. There's just a couple who haven't. But you have to, you have to accommodate that you are not in a 100% professional environment. You have to be professional in terms of making your film. You can't goof about or whatever. But you have to be accommodating. You can't, boss and shout and be a dick to people who you aren't properly paying. That's not going to go down well. You're not going to get people's best work. You're not going to get people's respect. You're just not going to, end up with a very good product at the end of the day. That's where I'm at. So I've had a couple of bad experiences in the last year or so on independent shoots, and a lot of really the good experiences outweigh ultimately, but the bad experiences screw everything up, screw up your whole time schedule, screw up your plans for, especially when they're paid, because they were paid jobs that got screwed up, not well paid, but they got, they did screw up everything, and you kind of plan for that in your head to have that little bit of extra money, and it's just a pain in the arse, and it reaches a point where you just think, well, I don't need that. I don't. It's not worth taking the risk on new people. I've got these people that I like to work with. It's not worth taking a risk on new people, and film suffers as a result, and I'm aware of that. But if I was in a more stable position, if I had, money burning a hole in my pocket, and I could merrily just take on whatever work I wanted, I'd do that all the time. But I can't, and I can't waste my time with you if you're gonna be a liability potentially. So sorry, I'm depressed about it. It's kind of reached this point where I just think, fuck it. But yeah, no. If you've worked with me before, if I know you, if I work with you in Boston, don't worry. I'm happy to keep working with you. You'll know if I like you or not, and we'll be, you know if we're friends. So yeah, we'll keep working together. But yeah, no, I'm not going to seek out low budget indie film for a while, or at least unless I might look at the ads, but I'm not gonna sort of. I would normally just like apply for everything and just be like, yeah, it sounds interesting. I'm kind of want to avoid that now. I'm gonna be much more selective. But thanks for watching. This video's probably run a little long actually because I got on a ramble. So I'm gonna put out some really long videos apparently over the next few days. But thanks for watching. Check out my other stuff. Check out my Pandemic Legacy review and my other board game stuff and my other talking about films and stuff like that. And check out some of my short film stuff. I put links to some of the films I've made. Hopefully, I'll be making some more short films in the new year and working up towards the feature. I'm going to do a read through of the feature. Hopefully, I'm going to try and get some actors together and do a proper table read, and I'll probably record it or record some of it. And that's that coming up. Thank you for watching. I hope you're all looking forward to Christmas. We just had Halloween and Guy Fawkes Night here in England. So yeah, I hope you're looking forward to Christmas, and I will probably try and get some more videos up over the holiday period. That's me for now. Back into the swing of the old video blogs. Keep an eye out for more videos in the next few days. I have recorded a few videos, so they should be going up in the next few days. Thank you. The end.